Buddy Webb. It's December 20th, 2017. I'm here in Midland, Texas at 3802 Fair Circle. I have what I call the biggest untold story in America, and I'm gonna try to tell you most of it in about 5 minutes. It is so long. The crimes have gone on for so long that it takes forever, and it's in bits and pieces. So I'm gonna really try to run through this, and what I want to name this video is the Hobbs Connection. I was born and raised in a town in southeast New Mexico called Hobbs, New Mexico. And I'm now living in Midland, as I said, which is about 100 miles away in Midland, Texas. This is all a shared oil field, so that's an oil field town. This is oil field town. Well, we'll get into the shot and left for dead and all the crimes here, but the one thing that is noticeable is that 90% of people from my hometown that I grew up in, that I was raised in, they never click on like or share on any of my Facebook posts. I mean, and this is an interesting story. There is a group of still secret police caught on camera in a murder attempt. And even if you don't want to call it a murder attempt, you call it a shooting. Either way, we still got secret police inside my home, and nobody will identify them. That should be raising red flags to you right there that something's wrong. And so what I want to do is go through here, and I've kind of got them laid out in order of some of the events that happened. I think there might be multiple murders involved here, and through the timeline. I'm gonna work through the timeline, and then bring you up to date up till the day where I'm getting phone calls, and I trace some phone calls out, and I'm gonna try to do this as fast as I can so it didn't take that long. Let me turn this around. Okay, sometimes this works better than other times. It's trying to take a video showing my computer screen, but I want to show you some messages that I got, and so we got to look at the computer. And really quick here, a woman named Rhonda Denman Rogers in a Facebook conversation. I say that there's an underground facility somewhere near my home, and she says, yes, I know, it's a half block away. And so that's not 1 block, not 2 blocks. It is very specific. It's within a half block. And she is only one of a half dozen people have told me that there's an underground facility by this house. And so that's not me saying it, that's her. And so, also for reference, and you can come back later and look at this, go to Google Earth. You can get these pictures. They're dated, and a plane flew over and took a picture. This picture was taken in March 2008 before I lived here. This is my home right here. So this is what it looked like before I moved here. Previous homeowner was still alive then. Okay, this one's dated, and it's dated December 2009. And basically, I'm showing this is the neighbor's house. There's the grass there. Something was put in the backyard underground within them 2 dates, and that's what I was showing here. Okay, and between March 2008 and December 2009, this ground cover possible tunnel entrance was put in. We see it again 2014 here, and then it's removed by April 2016. At the same time, this tree is taken out. That's where the side-by-side manholes are, and suspected tunnel coming over to my home for human trafficking was going, suspected to be at one of them side-by-side manholes next to where that live tree was taken out. So these were taken out, it looks like at the same time, somewhere between October 2014 and then April 2016. So there's the map picture. Show you where I live. This is it. I was shot on this side of my home, inside my home. Okay, a person under my home shoots me. And it was 2 weeks after reporting a suspected tunnel to the DEA who didn't look. That's a big deal. Okay. But let's start at the beginning here. 2008, July 12th, before I moved here. This man goes missing before Mike Lawhon, the previous homeowner, dies. He's still missing. The question's been asked, was he buried at this house? Did he die at this house? A local Mason in town, Midland Mason, told me 4 people have been murdered, died in my house, and asked me if I knew their names. I wondered if this was one of them. So there's one possible death for the connected to this home. He is still missing to this day. Okay, and then I'm gonna move on. My first day to look at the house, supervisor called and asked me, I got this job offer over here in Midland. I had moved from Hobbs, 25-year company employee at the time. The first day I looked at the house with my realtor, that's Janine Pruitt, a local realtor in town. We're walking through the house, looking at it. I get a picture of the back door. This is the door that goes to the garage. It's perfectly fine on this day. Okay. 12 days later, the homeowner here, Michael Ahan's dead. And then 28 days after this day right here, I met the home inspector at the house, and that doorknob was gone. It's documented on the inspection report that somebody brute force entered in that door right there. And as I said, the last homeowner died under very mysterious circumstances, because there's 2 death notices for him. There's one says he died here, and another says he died in Fort Worth. And so, and I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, here we go. And this is the Odessa American saying he died at his residence here on October 12, 2008. Okay, 3802 Fair Circle. And here's his death certificate, says he died in Fort Worth, which was his mom's house. And then, but a neighbor that lived across the street from my home, Marilyn Delugy, told me twice that he died at this house. And one time she says, I should know, right? And so I believe he did die here. They took him to Fort Worth, and that's why the death certificate here. And then they sold the house to me, because remember, this was at the date October 12, 2008. Okay, moving quickly we're going on in time. My first call for a burglary was 2010. There's a history of burglaries. Corson and Truex are the ones that showed up. I just found where there was a door open. I noticed somebody had been inside my home. It was a burglary, and they're already possible crazy. I don't know why when you call because somebody breaks into your home, they call you crazy, but that's what was going on from the beginning, and that was in 2010. And so there's a long history. A couple months later, my first call to report there was somebody in the attic. Okay, and here's the 3 officer, Corson, Michael Chandler, who is April Chandler, and she's a significant police officer that plays a big part in this, and this Bradley Alexander. They're the ones that showed up here. Once again, I'm called 1096, and what here on the document trail, this right here is dated 1/28/12, the night of the shooting. This report is for 2011, so it's really 14 months later that somebody, minutes after I'm shot, added this XREF. It's called an XREF. I had been told that there was a document trail being created on me on December 20th, 2011, which is, 4 years ago today. And is that right? No, 6 years ago today, 2011, 6 years ago today. And I think this was that document trail right there. It was found on this report from 2011, from January. Okay, first call for somebody in my attic, very serious about that. Okay, this right here, this is another police report. This was the one from December 20th, 2011. This is the one I'm told right here. Please come over, and I've told this story many times. Blake Bush, Trent Sellers, they put me in a car down the street, handcuffed me, told me that they better not be called again for this stuff. I was put in the back seat of that car, already had a bag of marijuana in the seat. I was threatened with being framed for drugs. And then when I get back in the home, inside my home, that's when I'm told, we're creating a document trail on you. And once again, here, this date on 1/28, that's the date of the shooting, not the date that this happened. That happened in about 5 weeks earlier. Remember, I was told 5 weeks earlier, we're creating a document trail, and then I found this. I think that is the document trail. I think it's the smoking gun. You figure out who did that, and I bet you it's going to lead to a secret police. One of the ones that are involved in the murder attempt on my life. And we just got to figure out who did this XREF. Okay. And so we're in a hurry. 9 days after that, my life insurance booklets are taken. Basically, they show the reader that if I die by accident, it's going to add a $250,000 and then 2 times my annual base pay, which is roughly $100,000 a year, $200,000, $450,000. So more or less $450,000, $500,000, $500,000 added on top. And if you counted the house and all the other life insurance, the regular life insurance, then and all the assets, we're talking about $1.5 million. So there's $1.5 million reasons that the secret police would sneak into my home and be involved in the murder attempt on my life. And so this was taken 9 days after. This is about the December 29th, 2011, right after the police were called on that night. Okay, and I'm trying to just stick with the evidence here. Okay, this is the night of the shooting. My camera log file. This camera was terminated at 8:08. I'm seen crawling out at 10:42. Somebody shut off my camera. At the same time, my cell phone disappeared from my house. And remember, I have people breaking this house on a regular basis, and I've made many, many, many videos of that. You know, there is no doubt. I'm in the bathtub and burglar alarms go off. You know, I've recorded where you can hear them. You know. And making noise, and so there's just evidence upon evidence. But anyway, I believe when they shut this camera off on the inside bedroom camera, terminated that camera, is at the same time they were taking my phone. They were preparing to murder me. They cut my communications, and so it's just log file. Then you can see me crawling out. I give God all the praise and glory. Literally cut my phone line, shot me from inches away, directly at an artery. I should have died. It was a miracle I'm alive. I give God all the praise and glory. Timestamp 10:42. I'm crawling out, and you notice on some of the other videos as I'm crawling out, I scream for help, and you see the lights on my company car go off. So somebody's sitting in my car when I'm crawling out. Absolute 100% proof somebody's here. When I'm shot, and it's on video. Y'all probably seen that. Some of you seen it. Nursing notes at the hospital. The nurse is taking notes. This is 11:27, just minutes after I crawled out, right? And I'm going, there's sirens going off. The alarms kept going off. And then here's 12:03, which is the next day on 129. And I'm telling them there's a white voice recorder that I'm recording. So it was recording the burglar alarms going off. It was proof of I was shot during this home invasion. Okay. And then at the same minute, Detective Rodriguez has patient's necklace. And so she's logged as being in the room. So Rodriguez finds out from me, proof is at my house. And that's what you're going to see in just a few hours. She goes sneaking to my house with her friends, and they accidentally get caught on camera after they try to disable the camera, and they accidentally start it. And so this is the proof. And so the nurse's notes. Then we're looking at the Windows system event log on my computer that was running the inside camera. This is the one that was terminated earlier before I was shot, at 8 o'clock before I was shot. We've seen that log file. At 3:15 a.m., it was a user-initiated log off. Now remember, on this day, 129, the police incident report shows no police in my house. So officially, the police were not here. Okay? Officially, them are just criminals in cop costumes that we see that I call the secret police. I believe, and most people believe, they are police. And two of them we believe are recognized, with the third one that we're strongly feeling like it's Chad Simpson, you know. But officially they're not. And so officially, while no police are at my house, there's a user-initiated log off. Somebody tampered with, messed with the computer that was running the camera. And obviously what happened is the secret police come over to my house. Obviously what happened, Rosa Rodriguez found out proof was at my house and come up with a plan to sneak into my house and steal the proof. And they saw the camera and thought, oh, we got to disable the camera because we don't want to get caught covering up this murder attempt. And so when they did that, there's a log for when they tried to disable the camera. What they didn't know is they started the camera, unknowingly started it. Okay, so this is Secret Police right here. Timestamp at 3:55. Just a few minutes after the tampered with the camera to try to stop it. Timestamp. That's Rosa Rodriguez. I say it is, but officially it's a Secret Police holding a camera. Okay, I say this is April Chandler searching drawers at 3:55, same night. But officially, these aren't police. These are criminals in cop costume. But right here, that is a police, and I think it's the same person. I think it's Rosa Rodriguez. And this is the only known entry. And here, I listed the police report here, and I listed the police report for the only known entry. And if you notice, when they come in, they do put names. So there's Brian Rackow and Joel Ramirez, Dylan Hale, Rosie Rodriguez, Todd Stanley. These are the ones here on the legal or only known entry. Here is the police report for when the secret police in there, nobody's at my house. So these are criminals in cop costumes. Nobody knows who they are. I say it's Rosie Rodriguez. And this one's interesting because it looks like they're pointing to the tunnel entrance I talked about earlier, Rosie Rodriguez. And that was on the legal entry on February 1st. Okay. There's a lot more pictures than what I'm showing you, of course. This one's important at 3:38. It shows a guy in a Midland K9 police jacket. That's kind of important since a Midland K9 police officer murdered his wife in 2014. What's also important from that is that Chad Simpson, that murdered Sandra Simpson, was from my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico. If you remember, when I started this, I said the Hobbs Connection, okay? So Chad and Sandra Simpson are from my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico, okay? I showed this today in a video. I believe this is Officer April Chandler, but it's officially a Secret Police. This is a Secret Police, but I believe it's Rosie Rodriguez, okay? Security cam pictures, timestamp 3:46. Okay. Here at the hospital, I'm talking about the voice recorder. Remember, that was at 12:03. April Chandler writes on an internal narrative that she found my 22 rifle, my 22 handgun, and the voice recorder that I said was there. And she said she checked it into evidence, but she lied. She lied. Let me say that one more time. She lied. It's not in evidence. She lied. Police officer lied. She lied. I hope you got that. She lied. I heard her on the police scanner today, and I've seen police cars 3 times in front of my house. It doesn't get scarier than catching a group of police with a hand in the booty bag, stealing evidence at the crime scene of a capital murder attempt, and then coming by your house. Okay. But what's interesting is Matthew Davis, super sergeant at the time, okay, he checks in the rifle and the handgun that she said she found, and the voice recorder stolen. Looks like Matthew Davis might be from my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico. Once again, we're back to the Hobbs Connection. Remember, I told you 90% of my friends from Hobbs never click like or share on this interesting story where a group of Secret Police caught on camera. Never happened before in the history of America. You know, this is record-breaking, never happened before, unbelievable crime, and they don't share the story. So the question, did Matthew Davis steal the evidence to cover up the capital murder attempt? Okay. Chandler's narrative. Okay, this is April Chandler. Okay. She's P250. I recorded and heard her on the police scanner today of 250, so I knew it was her. I recognized her voice. But in her narrative, she had wrote, Sergeant Davis and Lieutenant Dickey responded to the residents, my residents. Okay, so that puts them too. So we got 2 more people that are named. We don't know who they are or if they're even in the pictures, okay, because they're still Secret Police. But we got 2 more names, Sergeant Davis and Lieutenant Dickey. And that's Matt Davis that checked in the 22 rifle and handgun that Chandler said she found. And that's when the voice recorder that's so important because it's the proof of a capital attempted murder got stolen. So either Sergeant Davis from my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico stole it, cover up a capital attempted murder, or Chandler stole it, or they both stole it. And it looks like that they're all working together on it, you know, because they're all in my house, sneaking in my house. Okay, so let's talk about Matthew Davis here. Let's swing around. Let's skip that. I'll come back to that. 2013, 18 months. I talked about this within the last couple days. I got served a protective order by this person that I was married to for 3 months that's alleged to be involved in the shooting. Who's she led by? Arthur Welch, her ex-boyfriend, okay? And he said he dated her. He asked me if I thought she had anything to do with the shooting. And I said, I didn't think she lived in town. I think she knows who did. He says, I think she had a lot to do with it from the things she said. And she threatened to have me killed too. Okay, and she threatened to have me killed right up there. Okay, this document was submitted in court in the protective order case. Okay, and so this is court testimony. That's when I found out that this Rosa Rodriguez, Midland detective, was childhood friends with that ex-wife of 3 months that took my life insurance booklet. So I was going to get that, you know, and get all that money in the home and everything else if I died by accident. Okay, and so that's how all that ties together there with Arthur Welch in 2013. As y'all know, the ruling unbelievably come back. A lifetime protective order was issued, and it took away my right to own guns for life, left me disabled and defenseless. Okay. And so, minutes after I crawled out, these first 2 police showed up. 19 minutes later, it's time-stamped, and they're wearing tan uniforms. I had a family member of a local law enforcement officer contact me and tell me that it was Mike Naylor. Okay, he died in the line of duty. he's married to somebody from Hobbs. So let's put all this together. Chad Simpson, Sandra Simpson, murder-suicide. They're dead. They're from Hobbs, New Mexico. Matt Davis, Hobbs, New Mexico, once again. Mike Naylor, his wife's from Hobbs, New Mexico. These are all police officers. 2 of them are dead and one's a policeman's wife. And she's dead too. Okay, so I was told one of these first ones, I've asked the sheriff, just yes or no, was Mike Naylor one of these first secret police? No police report. You know, they wasn't dispatched. They just magically showed up minutes after I survived a murder attempt and disabled the cameras on the front of my house. And so that happened at 11:01. I called that at 10:42, and that happened at 11:01. Okay. And the reason I put it under 2014, because that's when he died, October 9th, 2014, in the line of duty. Okay. Now, December 13th, 2014, I posted to my Facebook this story called Rape and Murder. It's about this girl who was murdered at a 2010 oil show party for refusing to prostitute. My friend that was there told me about it, was afraid to report it, and said high-level police were there at this party. I think it happened in an underground facility, is what I believe. Okay, it happened right here near this house. Okay, and I posted it with this picture of the secret police with the Midland K9 police jacket. 2 days later, Midland K9 police officer Chad Simpson murders his wife. 2 days after I posted on December 15, 2014, a Midland K9 police officer murdered his wife after I wrote the story about rape and murder of this little girl. Okay. And so many people believe that he was the secret police that was in my house that murdered her. Okay. And so it will come right out in the paper. Midland Police Chief Robinson tells us investigating the shooting is a murder-suicide, and the officer was found dead. He, Chad Simpson, is believed to be the one who pulled the trigger on her, Sandra Simpson. Okay, so he murdered her. He's the killer. She's the victim. Okay, and I think he is the secret. It makes sense that he's already been caught in a capital attempted murder. It makes sense that he's dangerous, right? I mean, you know, that's not hard to figure out. And how about today? It gets real interesting. I'm getting these phone calls today from this number, 432-686-9636. And I answer, and nobody talks. They're still on the line. And 2 calls today, one at 9:46 and another one this afternoon. So I'll go to my old trusty friend on Google, and I look up that phone number. Comes back to Janice D. Setzler. And I do even more research on that, and I find this Dean Setzler, okay, at that number, at that address, okay, and that don't mean anything to me. I do more Google searches. Okay, I'll find Dean Setzler here in Odessa, Midland, where works for National Oil Well Varco. Well, that one rang a bell. He's executive sales manager in National Oil Well Varco, and the reason that rings a bell, because that's where old Matt Davis works, at National Oil Well Varco. That was today, folks. I got these calls. Okay. Now look, Sergeant, Detective Officer, City of Midland, and he quit December 2013. That was when the protective order case happened, and when I submitted that piece of evidence where Arthur Welch said, I think she had a lot to do shooting and threatening to have me killed too. When I submitted that evidence that same month, this same detective, he's the one that checked in the .22 rifle and handgun, and that's when the voice recorder, the proof of a capital attempted murder, went missing. And I believe he's from Hobbs, Matt Davis. But so I got a feeling these phone calls I'm getting today from the Setzler's number that works for Varco, that he knows this Matt Davis that was a sergeant here that also works for Varco. Do you see how all that ties together? Now what we're going to do is go back to what I said I was going to skip. I found Matt Davis's profile on Facebook. We have 4 common friends. These are people from Hobbs, okay? Scott Capps, many people know him. Robbie Robinson, many people. And you go, look, 36 common friends, 11 mutual friends, 7 mutual friends, okay? And literally, it goes pages of these. Danny Colvin, I know he's not on my friends list. You can see how many common friends. I want you to see all this. This guy's from Hobbs, you know. That's what I'm telling you. There's a Hobbs New Mexico connection here. 5 mutual friends, 41 mutual friends, 7 mutual friends. Justin Cope, I bet people know him, okay. And you know, and that don't mean these people are involved. Peggy Mason, I thought she's on my friends list. Maybe she has two different Facebook profiles. I don't know. That's kind of weird. And Shannon Colvin. I know her very well too, and that's because I'm from Hobbs. It looks like this guy's from Hobbs, and so I screenshotted that for my own records. And anyways, as I said earlier, I just seen a while ago the Midland Police drive these white SUVs called ghost vehicles. They're not marked, but you can tell that's what they are. And I had two in my alley today. It's on my security camera. And then another one in front of my house a while ago. I don't know how much more dangerous you can get. I survived a murder attempt, caught a group of secret police on camera. I have all the proof in the world, and my life's threatened. Let's don't forget the guy that wrote me and told me, says, we have access to your residence at all times. Nobody will ever believe your story. You will be silenced, not if, but when. I live under a death threat. I'm disabled and defenseless. There's a big connection back to Hobbs, New Mexico. The people in Hobbs, I got a feeling that I got a feeling many people know a lot more about the crimes going on in my house than I know, and I'm really trying to stay alive long enough to get this exposed. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.